Hello and welcome to Raju Notes channel, your pit stop for weekly current affairs updates. The updates tailor-made for students taking all kinds of competitive exams like UPSC, civils, defense and placement interviews. Please subscribe to the channel and stay updated every Sunday. United States President Joe Biden on Tuesday announced that Tata Group-led Air India will buy 220 Boeing aircrafts. According to Reuters, Biden hailed a historic agreement for Air India to purchase 220 Boeing airplanes with a list price of $34 billion. Air India signed a deal to buy 250 Airbus aircrafts. UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak said Air India's deal to buy planes from Airbus and its engines from Rolls-Royce is a huge win for UK's aerospace sector. This is one of the biggest export deals to India in decades. With wings from Brompton and engines from Derby, this deal will support jobs around the country, Sunak said. So overall, India becomes a job provider for US and UK. Cash-strapped Pakistan nearly doubled natural gas taxes on Tuesday in a bid to revive a $6 billion bailout from the International Monetary Fund. The government hiked the price of natural gas for domestic and international consumers from 16% to 112%. This comes after Pakistan agreed to impose new taxes for 17,000 crore budget for the bailout. Sri Lanka and India will sign a pact to link their power grids and start negotiations on an upgraded trade agreement within 2 months. The country's envoy, Melinda Maragoda, said, "We need to have more sources of foreign exchange and electricity will be ideal." Maragoda said, "Tourism for India, investment from India and integration with India, that's what we have to do," he added. China has announced that it is temporarily shutting down the consular section of its embassy in Islamabad until further notice. The embassy was receiving threats from Tehrik-e-Taliban and Baloch militants continuously, reports stated. Notably, this comes days after Pakistan's Punjab reportedly directed Chinese citizens living there and working with private companies to hire their own security. An experimental contraceptive drug candidate developed in the United States temporarily stopped sperms in their tracks and prevented pregnancies in preclinical models. A single dose of SAC inhibitor called as TDI-11861 immobilized the mice sperm for up to 2.5 hours, with full fertility returning 24 hours later. Unlike the female contraceptive pill, it doesn't involve any hormones. A network-independent real-time tracking and messaging module called as Sanchar is being used in Turkey by Indian Army officials rescuing earthquake victims. The module, developed by Indian Army's Captain Karan Singh and Subedar PG Sapre, is compatible with all map formats and GPS constellations. It features a communication range of 1.5 to 2 kilometers and a battery life of 6 to 7 hours. Scientists have made drones using dead birds' bodies that could potentially be used for spying. Instead of using artificial material for building drones, we can use dead birds and re-engineer them as drones, the New Mexico tech Mustafa Hossan Ali said. Researchers combined taxidermy birds' parts with the artificial flapping drone mechanism to mimic living birds, general appearance and its motions. The Indian Army has placed a request for proposal for the procurement of 48 Jetpack suits, which are displayed at Aero India 2023 show and are manufactured by a Bengaluru-based startup. According to the reports, the Jetpack suit weighs about 3 kgs and can fly 80 kilograms weight soldier. It can fly 10 kilometers in 10 minutes, as per the reports. The Central Board of Direct Taxes (CBDT) has notified income tax return forms for the assessment year 2023 and 24. These ITR forms will come into effect from the 1st of April this year. To facilitate taxpayers and to improve ease of filing, no significant changes have been made to the ITR forms in comparison to the last year's forms. A state of emergency was declared on Tuesday in New Zealand as the residents struggled to deal with the devastation left by Cyclone Gabrielle. The cyclone had swept away roads, inundated homes, and left more than 1 lakh people without power. Some stranded people were airlifted from their rooftops by the military helicopters. Several homes have been destroyed and people were seen on the roads clearing the debris. The Union Cabinet has approved the construction of Shinkula Tunnel to provide all-weather connectivity in Ladakh. The construction work of this 4.1-kilometer tunnel will be completed by December 2025. The total expenditure of this project will be 1,681 crore rupees. The tunnel will lead to all-round development of the region and give a boost to the tourism, health and education sector, in addition to being an important from strategic and national security point of view. As many as 20 banks, including HDFC Bank and UCO Bank, have opened special Vostro accounts to facilitate overseas trading in rupee. Director General of Foreign Trade Santosh Kumar Sarangi said, "This move comes as even several countries have expressed interest to have arrangements for rupee trade. Bangladesh, Sri Lanka and Mauritius are taking initiatives to open Rupee Vostro accounts." Former Egyptian Special Forces officer Saif al-Adel is now the uncontested leader for the militant group Al-Qaeda, according to the new United Nations report. Al-Qaeda has not formally named a successor of Ayman al-Zawahiri, who has been believed to have been killed in US missile strikes in Kabul last year. US is offering up to $10 million for information on Adel. Hindustan Aeronautical Limited said it has received the Indian Technical Standard Order, also called as ITSO, authorization from DGCA for its indigenously developed cockpit voice recorder, also known as CVR, and the flight data recorder, FDR. The CVR and FDR are commonly known as the black boxes. ITSO is a minimum performance standard for the specified materials, parts, processes, and appliances used on civil aircraft, HAL said. Neil Mohan was named as the Senior Vice President and new head of the YouTube after Susan Wojcicki announced she was stepping down as a YouTube CEO. Neil earned his Bachelor's of Science degree from the Stanford University and MBA from the Stanford Graduate School of Business. He previously worked with companies like Accenture and Microsoft and had been YouTube's Chief Product Officer for over several years. The fourth edition of the joint military exercise Dharma Guardian between India and Japan will begin this week at Camp Imazu in Shiga province of Japan. It will continue till 2nd of next month. The scope of this exercise covers platoon-level joint training operations in jungle and semi-urban and urban terrains. Troops from Garhwal Rifle Regiment of the Indian Army and the Infantry Regiment from the Middle Army of the Japan Ground Self-Defense Force are participating in this exercise. An Indian Air Force aircraft carrying 12 cheetahs from South Africa has landed in Madhya Pradesh, with pictures surfacing online. This is the first time that South Africa has translocated cheetahs to India as part of an initiative to expand cheetah metapopulation and to reintroduce the mammals in the country, South African Department of Forestry, Fisheries and Environment said. And now for the segment where we see the events that unfolded this week back in history. February 10th, 1846, the East India Company wins the first Anglo-Sikh War. On this day, 177 years ago, the Battle of Sobran, the fourth, the last and the decisive battle of the First Anglo-Sikh War, resulted in British victory. The First Anglo-Sikh War was fought between the Sikh Empire and the East India Company in 1845 to 1846. The Sikh state in the northwest India came under British domination after the loss. However, Punjab could only be completely annexed in 1849 after the Second Anglo-Sikh War. February 12, 1809, Abraham Lincoln is born. On this day, 214 years ago, Abraham Lincoln, widely considered the greatest American of all time, was born. A young Lincoln once said he did not fear doing anything that would make the world remember him. Indeed, he did enough to be remembered for a long time after his untimely death. His greatest legacy is his resolve to preserve the union of the American Civil War and his signing of the Emancipation Proclamation that ended slavery. February 15, 2001, the first draft of Human Genome is published. On this day, 22 years ago, the draft Human Genome Sequence was published in the journal Nature. Its publication promised great insight into human body, medicine, and evolution. It also changed the way life science research was done. The Human Genome Project was the world's largest collaborative global research program to completely map and understand human genes. The structural, organization, and the functions of the complete set of human genes is now well understood.
Well, that's all, friends, for this week's updates. See you soon next Sunday on the same channel. Till then, take care. Bye bye.